my YouTube channel. I'm Kathleen, and today we are talking 5 summer wines and their respective cheese pairings. This way, the next time you have people over, you can take your fancy pants out and rock their world. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, guys, so the first summer wine I want to talk about is my favorite, Riesling. Oh, I love it so much. So this is pretty sweet in nature. It's also very fruity. Think apples and apricots and peaches. It is so good, but it's not as sweet as a Moscato or an ice wine for those of you that like that kind of wine. Usually I get my Rieslings from either Germany or Washington State because they're more medium sweet to sweet. However, if you prefer a drier Riesling, then you can go ahead and buy one from France or Austria. When it comes to the cheese pairing that I prefer something with a bite. So a Parmesan cheese with Riesling is perfect. That salty bite of the Parmesan cheese with the sweetness of the Riesling is just so good. It is to die for. And this one is from Washington State, and I love it. It is called Washington Hills Riesling, so this is a good one to buy. And the bottle is not that expensive. I think it's between $10 to $15. So there you go. Next up is Prosecco. So when I don't have any Riesling, I love Prosecco. I really, to be honest, I go for rosé champagne, but champagne and Prosecco are pretty much the same thing. As you all know, champagne is just from the Champagne region of France, and Prosecco is made in Italy. But they're both very refreshing for a hot summer day. It's so good. And I like to pair this with Brie. Brie is very creamy, so it just kind of works well. It's golden when you have it together. So the next summer wine that you should be stocking up on is Chardonnay. So Chardonnay is one of those wines that I usually tell people that are hosting and they need an option. I usually say Chardonnay or Savion Blanc is probably the way to go. It's pretty safe. Unlike Riesling though, Chardonnay is not fruity. It's actually more oaky. The experts say that it has hints of vanilla, so we will trust them. And then I usually, because it's so oaky, I like to pair it with a mild cheddar. So the mild cheddar is pretty nutty in flavor, and I think it just goes perfect with the Chardonnay. And then this one from Louis Jadot is so good, and again, pretty inexpensive. I tried to get options for you guys that are not completely out of this world, but are still delicious. So the fourth wine, summer wine, that we should talk about is Sauvignon Blanc. So Sauvignon Blanc, unlike Chardonnay, is actually not oaky at all. It tends to be like lighter and crisper. So again, really good for summer. And I like to pair it, because it's so light and crisp, I like to pair it with something more tangy. So goat cheese is perfect. But let me give you a little secret. If you guys have a Trader Joe's near you, and I think I've talked about this many of times, there's this honey goat cheese that they sell there. It is so good, and I think the honey with the tanginess of the goat cheese paired with Sauvignon Blanc is just delicious. All right, so last but not least is White Zinfandel. So White Zinfandel is definitely universally known as a beginner's wine. It is very fruity in nature, so it's kind of, it's nice if you're not a wine drinker. I definitely can say you can start here, although personally I would say start with Riesling because it's also sweet and amazing. But in all sincerity, you can definitely start here and kind of get your feet wet. I usually pair this because it's so sweet, again, with something with a bite. So a Manchego cheese goes really well. A Parmesan cheese also goes really well. Again, it's that salty sweet bite that is just perfect. All right, guys, that is it. Those are your 5 summer wines. And now this girl is gonna pour herself a little glass of vino, because why not? The fruits of my labor, trying to, make sure I taste it, make sure it's perfect before I tell you exactly what it is. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I will link all the wines, in case I didn't mention all their names, down below, so don't worry. And I will also name all the cheeses I paired it with, so you are good to go for your next shindig. Thank you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have your favorite wine and I didn't mention it here, leave it down below and let me know, because I'm always willing to try, something new. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next week. Cheers. Bye.